Let me know when you're ready.
Okay, I think I'm set here.
Okay. Why should people learn how to use neuromanagement?
Neuromanagement is really about learning how we process information in the brain. And so many people do personality tests or personality assessments, but personalities are an aggregate of our experiences over our entire lives. So it's really hard to communicate to someone's personality. But the brain types, there are only 4 types, and it's really simple to communicate directly to brain types. The other reason you should really use it is when you communicate to brain types, it forces people to pay attention to you. The brain is always scanning for what's important to it, and each brain type has specific motivators and information needs that it's always scanning for.
So, what are the 3 pieces of advice for skip attendees who would like to learn how to use neuromanagement?
First thing is always understand who your audience is and what's really important to them.
Okay, guys, sorry for interrupting you guys, but can I just ask you to start with a whole sentence because we want to cut this part probably eventually.
Okay.
Start with the 3 pieces of advice.
Okay.
Sure. Happy to. Yeah. Okay. Get it? Yeah. Okay.
Do you want to ask the question
Yeah.
again, or do you just start?
Whenever you're comfortable.
Either one. So the 3 main pieces of advice I'd have for people who really want to use neuromanagement. First one is really get to know your audience. Understand what's important to them, what they care about, and what they've supported in the past if you're trying to sell them an idea. Second thing is to frame your information so that it hits their motivators, it communicates directly to those. It also avoids their demotivators. And so in certain cases, you really want to trigger their fear response. So if you're really pitching ideas to an community. Let's start that over again.
Sure. Well, you can start from the second advice because we already had the first one, so we can just cut it. Yeah.
Second piece of advice is you really want to make sure you hit people's motivators and avoid their demotivators, and specifically sometimes, particularly if you're working with controller managers, to trigger their fear, because often their fear of losing can out-trump everything else that they're working on. Third piece of advice is you test it out. You have to really understand and test things before you know they'll work or not. So you can ask a coworker or colleague if they think the message would resonate with their audience, or you can test it several times in small ways before you go in with a big pitch or a strategy.
Thank you.
Pleasure.